Hello again everyone, this is Holly with Flutter by Designs, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to finish the word book, how to cover it with paper. So what I have is my M for the Mimi that I started, and then I found some pattern paper that I liked. You can use pattern or solid. This one's double-sided, and I want this to be my first page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it right side down, and I'm going to take my letter, and I like to just use a glue stick. You can use whatever kind of glue you want. I like a glue stick for this. And all you're going to do is make sure you get glue all around the edges first of your letter. That way it gives it a nice seal. And then you're just going to put a little bit of glue right on the inside. And then place your glue on your paper. Make sure if the pattern paper has a right side and a wrong side, you do it the correct way so your letter isn't upside down. Then they're done that, and you're just going to gently but firmly press your letter onto your paper so it looks like this. And we're just going to let that dry for just a couple minutes. So if you have a lot of letters to do, I would glue them all down and then cut them all. And a couple of things while that's drying is I like to work on a glass mat because we're going to be cutting, and if you cut through this onto your table, you're going to leave nice little marks on your table. I also like to use this Fiskars tool. It's an X-Acto knife. If I can get the lid off. It's an X-Acto knife, but it has a grip on it, so I can put my finger through and guide the X-Acto knife a lot better than if I were to use a regular X-Acto knife. So what you're going to do, when this is dry, you are going to take your X-Acto knife, and the Fiskars will be pointing upwards, and I'm just going to put my index finger just like this, almost like I hold a pencil. Place your hand on the chipboard. You're just going to drag it across, drag it right next to your letter, and it'll cut right through. See how that piece came right off? I always like to drag it towards me. I'll give a little more control. If it doesn't cut through the first time, you just cut it again like I had to do when I first started. Peel all that away. And there's my M. And because I wanted to work on this a little ahead of time, I did all the rest of the letters for Mimi. Did the front and the back with coordinating paper. If you look, I chose some solids and some pattern paper that kind of go together. So what I'm going to do right now is, again, I'm going to do the back of it. Just the same way again. Put glue on the edge. One thing you want to make sure is when you're using different papers is that you mix and match them so you don't have the same papers backing each other up. Just add a little variety. Let that dry for a minute, and while that's drying, I'm going to show you a couple of the other books I made. Here's the initials book that I made, K, L, and H, and then I just did a solid page in the back. I used baseball paper, obviously, and it all really coordinates together. And so what I did along the edges is I inked it in black. That way I can see the letters a little bit better. And what I like to do with my books is I like to put quotes on them. And if you go on Google, you can do quote searches just about for every subject you can think of. And then I just put places for photos. And I just found a lot of embellishments. Here's some rickrack, here's a button, a rub-on. Here's a big baseball sticker I found. Here's one using the skinnier letters. It says Granny. It's actually a pretty long little book. But again, I put some quotes. I like to put flowers. I made a little frog for this one. Hope you can see that. And I always tie ribbons along the side. Alright, this M should be ready to go. Obviously the straighter letters are a lot easier to cut than letters that are round, but you can cut letters that are round with this. It just takes a little more time. And when you're at home by yourself, you can take as much time as you need. Quite get that exactly, so I'm just going to cut it one more time. This one too. And to help with little imperfections, I like to use ink. These are little cat's eyes. They come in different colors by color box. And just like I did on the baseball one, I'm just going to ink the edges of my book. It just fixes little imperfections. It outlines your letters, gives each one a little bit of pizzazz. I'm going to do the front and the back. I chose red. I believe this is called Burnt Sienna. And I did this on every page for this book. Just kind of makes it all go together. So the last step I'm going to show you is to punch the holes in the side to bind your book. I like to use these 1-inch rings that you can get at any office supply store. You can bind it any way you want to. And I already have a template that I made that shows me where I'm going to punch my holes. I use this for every book I make. But it's 1 inch, it's a 1/4 of an inch over, and 1.5 inches from the top and 1.5 inches from the bottom. And once you make a template like this, you're just going to lay it on your letter, kind of center if it's not exactly the same height. And you're just going to trace over that circle. And then I like to use the Crop-A-Dile because it has a big punch and a little punch. I'm going to use the little punch. If you want to know more about the Crop-A-Dile, just let me know. Just going to punch it through. Take an eraser, just erase some of the pencil mark I made. And then I'll use that to make the rest of the holes. And then I'll have a completed Mimi book. And to help me finish it, I have some flowers I'm going to add. Of course, I'm going to add some ribbon. I found some cute brads with that are about cooking because she likes to cook. And of course, stickers and rub-ons and just everything I want to add. So I'll make sure to put a finished picture on my blog. Thanks for watching. Bye.